I'm going to expose one of Satan's secrets regarding music frequency. Meet the Rockefeller family. This family is one of the 13 Illuminati bloodline families that controls the world. This powerful elitist family is actually the reason why secular music is poisoning the souls of many listeners today.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Laid Back with another reaction, another review, another episode. Hey, TikTok, you up to bat. Wow. It's your boy Laid Back. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, two things we gotta do. You gotta hit that subscribe button. I'm drinking this water. You already know what it is, man. Elevate more in 2024. Elevate more in 2024. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Stay up to date with all the videos. We back with another TikTok compilation. We got a lot of different stuff in here, man. So buckle up. Buckle up. You make it to the end of this one, make sure you drop a real one for real in the comments, man. Let's go ahead and get it. Fire Squad, what's poppin'? Let's get it.
Unreal Engine 5.1 pretty much proves we're living in a simulation. I mean, just look at it. These graphics just keep getting better and they're seriously starting to trick my brain. According to simulation theory, if we ever get to a point in which we can't
Do your own research.
tell video game graphics apart from reality, and we're clearly starting to get there, then that essentially 100% confirms we are currently living in a simulation. The idea here is that any civilization advanced enough to create a VR world that is a one-to-one replica to reality will inevitably make such a simulation of the entire universe, complete with sentient life that believes itself to be real, just like you and me. So if we end up making a simulation that is a one-to-one replica of reality, including planets, humans, physics, the entire universe, then that simulation that we make is also guaranteed to make its own simulations instead of what's simulated after us. Think simulation meets inception, a simulation inside of a simulation. So then if that's the case, this pattern of creating simulations within simulations will repeat forever inside this inevitable simulation chain. So then after all this infinite simulation nonsense, we essentially have one base reality and an infinite amount of simulated realities. Which means the chances of this current reality we're living in is the base reality is 1 over infinity. Which for those of you who don't understand math, 1 over infinity is 0%. So there is a 0% chance that we're living in the base reality, which is the only real reality. And a 100% chance that we're living in a simulated one. Yo, did that make sense? Because I don't even know this rabbit hole we just went down. Unplug from the Matrix, bro.
Do y'all believe that? Do you?
Those parties, those freak-offs, I can almost guarantee you, Diddy did not put together one detail about any one of those things. It was 5 or 7 other people that knew he liked them. They were the ones that did all the work. They were the ones that found the girls, found the drugs, prepped the hotel rooms, cleaned the hotel rooms, wiped the blood off the coffee table. Teams of people were involved in this, all because there was something about the lie that gave them an advantage. And that is the way the world works. That is the way it will always work, and it has always worked. There were other people pulling the strings to make Diddy who Diddy was. Attorneys, investors, labels, like promoters. There were all these people who had to keep the secret, and all they cared about was, hey, keep the guy happy, he keeps producing. Keep the guy happy, he keeps quiet. Keep the guy doing this.
Whew. If you see that, then you fire people, you let people go. So, but I hear what you're saying, that it's not just one person. It feels like it may be an army of people, but they have that one person at the top that is everyone's pointing at. Now, just spoiler alert, I've been to a P. Diddy party before. I've been to his house, and
Been to a party, huh?
These are the 5 scariest space facts. You've been warned. If a massive asteroid was headed for the Earth, the chances are there isn't really much we could do. At any moment, the sun could emit a coronal mass ejection aimed at the Earth, and if we weren't prepared for it, it could destroy the entire world's energy grid and leave us without power for years. There are black holes lurking in the shadows, roaming throughout our galaxy, and if one entered our solar system, it would be all over. When a star runs out of fuel, it can emit a gamma ray burst, and if a star within 3,000 light years of Earth happened to emit a gamma ray burst and it was aimed at us, the ozone layer would be destroyed.
Dang.
Finally, every year there is more space junk created, putting us at risk of being trapped within the Earth.
Who putting the trash out there?
Who is the most powerful person in America?
Oh, I don't think anybody would probably know their name. Yeah, there's her.
behind the scenes. But certainly people on this committee, like Admiral Wilson, he was deputy director of CIA, then he was the director of the National Security Agency, then he moved on to the board of, wait for it, Science Applications International Corporation.
Who's this?
Admiral Bobby Randman. So that's where the action is. I think the center of gravity isn't in the government at all.
Was Mr. Bush Sr. ever one of these high-ranking people that was on the inside, or no?
Oh, absolutely. George H.W. Bush?
Yes.
Yes, W, no. But George H.W. Bush, he was the one who threatened Bill Clinton. But stay quiet, there's none of your business. I have a witness to Mr. Clinton sharing that.
George H.W. Bush Sr.
Yes, it's none of your business, butt out. And these were people trying to infiltrate these illegal black projects, but most of them either got absorbed or killed. And eventually, George H.W. Bush said, back off. This is none of your business.
Did he?
Oh, yeah.
Who really has the power?
The Simpsons don't predict the future. They control it. Did you know that Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, could be a member of the Freemasons? Freemasons are a secret society that has been the subject of many conspiracy theories over time. Many believe that this group has the power to influence the world and everything that happens in it. To start with, many characters in The Simpsons have names that are linked to Freemasonry. For example, the character of Homer is named after the ancient Greek poet Homer, who wrote about the Trojan War.
What?
In Freemasonry, the Trojan War is a symbol of the struggle between good and evil. Furthermore, there are several references to Freemasonry in various episodes of The Simpsons. For instance, in one episode, Homer becomes a member of a secret society called the Stonecutters, which is clearly a parody of Freemasons. Finally, Groening himself has admitted that he is fascinated by secret societies and conspiracy theories. In an interview with Playboy magazine, he stated that he was inspired by the book Illuminati Trilogy, which explores the idea of a secret society controlling the world. Perhaps the Simpsons don't actually predict anything. Maybe their influence is simply so powerful that they are capable of controlling what happens.
That's crazy. I've never heard that perspective. That's crazy.
Terrifying facts you never knew. If your immune system ever found out that you have eyeballs, you would go blind. Which means right now your immune system has no clue that you can see. Because if it did, they would attack your eyeballs until you could no longer ever see. This is because your eyeballs have a protein in them called crystalline that doesn't exist anywhere else in your body. So if your immune system found out and checked them out, it would be like, something's wrong here. Studies show that most serial killers are born in November. Today's high school students have the same anxiety levels as insane asylum patients had in the 1950s. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, my anxiety might be up there too. There's a disease called fatal familial insomnia, where people suddenly one day lose their ability to fall asleep, which leads them to slowly go insane. They can't distinguish dreams from reality anymore and go into some type of paranoia. It becomes so severe that they eventually die. Those that make it to the final stage and don't die usually end up in a vegetated state, no longer conscious. And it can happen to any one of you. About 3,000 people go missing every year in the United States. The last execution by guillotine was in 1977. This was in France. And also that was the same year the first Star Wars movie came out. You are always 6 minutes away from death, but breathing resets the clock. In 2011, Anatoly Yakovlevich was arrested for having 12 dolls in his apartment. Only problem is, they weren't normal dolls. They were recently deceased little girls that had been dug up and dressed to be put on display. In 2012, a Burger King employee anonymously posted this to 4chan. It said, "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." It only took 20 minutes for people to track down the branch that he worked at, and he was fired. You really never know what people are doing to your food. H.H. Holmes was a serial killer who built a torture hotel in the 19th century. He had secret rooms with gas chambers, trap doors, and stairs that led to nowhere. He loved to play with his victims' minds. It was almost like a real-life Saw movie. There's a bridge in Scotland called the Overtoun Bridge, and for some reason, dogs keep jumping off of it at the same spot. Yeah, they just jump to their deaths. Experts can't figure out why either. Some people speculate it's a magnetic field or maybe a frequency that only they can hear, but others believe it's something supernatural. But whatever is making dogs jump off that bridge to their deaths is still to this day unexplained. Joe Matheny was an infamous serial killer who not only cooked his victims to eat for himself, but also made them into burgers using their remains. He then sold them to unsuspecting customers from a roadside food stand. We really
Whoa. He killing people, making them hamburgers and selling them? Come on, man. This is wild.
Never know what we eating. I'm cooking all my food myself. This is why I don't eat over people's house. In 2021, a new homeowner was shocked to find a boarded up wall. When he ripped the boards off the wall, he discovered a hole. In that hole was a doll clutching a note. The note saying that she killed a family who lived there in the 1960s. Be honest, would you move out? In 1978, there was a pilot named Frederick Valentin. Him and his plane disappeared in Australia. His last communication was, Melbourne, that strange aircraft is hovering above me again. It is hovering and it is not an aircraft. This is a mugshot of William West and William West. Oh, and they're not related at all. But they were both sent to Leavenworth Prison at the exact same time in 1903. And after some confusion, the staff finally figured it out. They were two different people who had the exact same name and looked identical. This was said to be one of the main reasons why we now use fingerprints to identify somebody. There's biotech being developed as we speak that can make prisoners feel they are serving an 1,000-year sentence in a matter of 8 hours. That's horrifying. Imagine thinking you spent 1,000 years somewhere, and then when you wake up and snap out of it, you realize that it was only a couple hours. Do you know how crazy that is? Anyways, like this video if you want a part 2.
That stuff was crazy he was talking about.
The CIA recently declassified a book that says all of humanity will soon be wiped out in a global cataclysm. The book is called The Adam and Eve Story. Part 1 and 2 blew my mind and they're up on my profile. What really trips me out is that the events outlined in this book actually gives reasonable explanations to history's greatest mysteries, such as Antarctica, the lost city of Atlantis, the pyramids all around the world, Stonehenge, Easter Island, the forgotten Pacific continent of Mu, the list goes on. And virtually every religion in ancient folklore and history talks of a catastrophe that resets the entire world. Like the famous Noah's Ark, the hurricane flood of the Mayans, the Sumerians had the flood in Gilgamesh, and all written completely independent of each other and all prophesizing that it will happen again, aka Judgment Day. Same goes for the legends of the pyramids and all these ancient structures all around the world. Each of these cultures have an almost identical story of some greater being coming down and building these monuments for them, despite these ancient civilizations being tens of thousands of kilometers apart and never coming into contact with each other. Not a single one of them actually taking credit for these incredible achievements themselves. I don't know about you, but if I was some great civilization that built something as incredible as the pyramids, I would definitely want to be flexing on everyone about it. But these stories of the pyramids and worldwide floods, remnants of our advanced ancestors, pass on to the Stone Age of the next civilization of humans. And again, the book that outlines these events has been dismissed by everyone as pseudoscience. But as we've seen, especially lately, the difference between pseudoscience and science is usually just time. This book was classified by the CIA up until 2013, so were they trying to hide something from us?
This stuff is craziness.
The B movie is mad woke. The B movie actually talks about the Matrix. There's a scene in the B movie when all the workers, the main B worker lady, she's like going through all these jobs and she says, make sure you find one you really like because you're gonna be doing this for the rest of your life. The main character was like, so you're just gonna work us to death? We hope so. And everybody else that's stuck in the Matrix says, they're just laughing. It's a joke, you know? As a kid, never would have thought.
So pretty much when the bees stopped producing honey, the pollen wouldn't go to all the plants and then all of the plants died. Remember?
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know that.
So the bee movie is actually mad political because it tells you like everybody has to play their part for the world to run. So you guys can't just drop out of society like this. You guys better work or else the whole system's gonna collapse. They're trying to make you think, oh yeah, you can be free, but watch what happens. Watch what happens.
No, but that's real because like as a society, boom, you don't have these certain people playing these roles. It's turning into
You can't be rich if there's no poor people.
Right. That's it right there.
Darkest conspiracy theories. The Earth virus theory. This theory states that the Earth is a living organism, and we, you and I, the humans, are the virus. The Earth grows plenty of free food, and every animal seems to balance and coexist on Earth in sort of a circle of life. For instance, bees pollinate crops, moving from one plant to the next, fertilizing each plant. It's beneficial. Even though they're taking pollen, they're still being beneficial. But humans, we seem to not benefit the Earth at all. We're more destructive. We clear rainforests, kill the ocean with our plastics, puncture giant holes in the ozone with our chemicals and fuels, and we cause man-made climate disasters. We don't seem to coexist. But before I continue, question time. If aliens were about to destroy the planet and one came up to you, they chose you, and said, if you show us 2 things on Earth of why we shouldn't destroy this planet and kill you all, what 2 things would you show them to save?
What would be the 2 things? What would be the 2 things? This is interesting. I'm gonna read. See what y'all say.
The earth. Let me know down below. But anyways, think about the human body. When we're sick, our body creates antibodies to kill off the viruses. That's exactly what the earth does to us, creating earthquakes, droughts, tsunamis, and other natural disasters. Let's face it, we're destructive in nature. And while a tiny bit of us do try to help the planet, the majority of us selfishly harm it. Maybe we are the virus.
I always thought something like that.
I gotta show you something that I don't know how to explain at all. Either the government is building something insane, or this is aliens.
Why, what is it?
You know Google Earth, right?
Yeah.
Do you have Google Earth on your phone?
Probably not, but I'm probably just gonna Google and...
Okay, well, I will do it on my phone real quick.
Yeah, Google
and I
Earth
will
on your
show
phone?
you. Yes. I'll punch in these coordinates on my phone myself, and what I see is so wild, Mike. Pretty much, bro, when you punch in these coordinates on Google Earth, it will take you to this random part of the Earth that's like a barren wasteland. For miles, there's nothing, no town, no whatever. And the only way I can explain this thing is it looks like a portal or something, dude. Don't know how to explain this. I don't know what this looks like, Mike. That's the best way I can describe it. All around it, for miles, are hella tanks defending it. I swear to God.
What?
For miles, dude, hella tanks spread out. You can't even get close to it.
And this
How
is
many
real?
tanks? And this is real.
What the...
I'll show you right now.
Let me see.
All right, first, I just pasted this okay? Look, it's in there.
Yep.
What the is this?
Let me see.
And then zoom and look around all over the desert.
What the is this?
Mike.
It's like a Death Star.
Go around the whole desert.
Oh, no, there actually is like tanks.
Keep going.
They're hella spread out.
Hella of them.
What the?
Hella of them.
But dude, what is that black? And there's like something like looking across from it that like mirrors it too. What is this? Let me zoom out. Bro, that's in America. Bro, that's in California. Bro, there's for sure hundreds of tanks.
Dude.
All around the...
And you see how they're all pointing away from it?
Yeah, they're low-key blending in.
Bruh, Mike.
Dude, there's hell of them.
No way. No way.
If you take the battery out of your phone, I can still listen to you. In the old days when you took the batteries out, you take the batteries out and think you're good, and you go in there and skiff, and you can talk about whatever you want. Well, I could still listen to you. We were doing stuff that you could never find what we were doing, ever, and you never will. And it's in every piece of equipment right now, and every chip right now, there's stuff. And where are we buying all the chips from?
China.
This is the future. And I said, if you guys aren't starting to look at where the future is going and what we're doing with technology, and you're starting to do it right now, and you guys are going to miss the boat. And I gave him a lot of things like the 3D printed gun, and I was talking to him about 3D printing pharmaceuticals and about this. And I said, I could do all that stuff in my basement. And I said, pretty soon. I said, I've already 3D printed, and I'm doing all this other stuff. And so this stuff, it's not rocket science. You know, if I can 3D print, I can load up all these tubes with these different things. You know, I can load them up with pharmaceutical, grade this, and I can do them down in the micro stuff. You know, because we were already doing some super micro stuff that I could talk to you about. That's like,
Who the hell is that guy? He sound like he knows.
Have you heard of the Valley of Headless Men? So there's this place in one of the most remote wildernesses anywhere in the world, and despite being a national park since the 1970s, it still has unexplored areas to this day. Which is understandable, as it's only accessible by air, has these deep river canyons and huge mountains, and has this complex cave system. But the mysterious thing about this place is that back in 1908, these two brothers, the McLeod brothers, came searching for gold but disappeared, only to be found a year later with their heads removed. Then just 9 years later, this Swiss gold miner Martin Jorgensen was also found missing his head. And later in 1945, another man was found still in his sleeping bag missing his head. And what makes this story so interesting is just a year before all these incidences, there used to be this very renowned tribe that lived in the area called the Naha tribe, and they all just suddenly disappeared completely from the area. And to make it even more strange, all the other indigenous tribes in the area say that they've all specifically avoided this valley for centuries because of some unknown evil that they say haunts it. And there's all kinds of theories for why this happened, from there being feral people in the cave systems that attack you, to the entrance of some ancient world being there and having a tropical climate due to hot springs which do exist in the area, to the Naha tribe not disappearing at all but wanting to keep the gold for themselves and going deeper into the wilderness. Regardless, this place is still extremely mysterious to this day.
Wow. Headless people just getting killed?
Now, you and your team went into the inner Earth. What was the mission and how did you get there?
Well, we used portal technology, and there'd be anywhere from 10 to 15 people in the group.
Once you get into the inner Earth, how do you move around? Do you walk? Do you drive? What do you do?
Yeah, we basically hike the whole way. I mean, it's all on foot. All on foot. I mean, some of these places are so vast. They're many, many, many miles. I know one of the longest ones I remember was about 6 miles in diameter.
That's pretty hefty.
Yeah, and so yeah, everything's on foot. We do have assistance with special types of robots and other cybernetic type beings.
Did everybody have a specific purpose?
Yes, everyone had a specific purpose. Some people were teamed up too, as twos.
All right.
Everyone was always monitored. Everyone kind of always knew where everyone was, but you could actually walk a mile or two in these, these areas, these jungles and these lakes and things like that. And in some lakes, you'd have to be careful because they're very acidic, so you couldn't just go in there. You'd probably burn up.
Eat you away. Right?
Yeah, and melt right down.
I mean, what's the worst thing you've seen there that may have happened to one of your crew members? Did anybody die?
Only things I've seen are the videos from past adventurers that have went into these things.
So they showed you videos.
Oh yeah, we
some of it.
Many. Yeah, before even going into a mission, you get to see all the prior missions. It's part of their training, so you know what to expect. You know what trees not to touch, what animals not to touch, when to run.
What is then the most horrendous thing you've seen on video? What did you see?
Probably was the lake was pretty bad.
Somebody jumped in there?
Yeah.
You sound emotional here.
Well, they just touched it with their foot.
And lost a foot?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was.
It just ate it away?
Yeah, it was like acid. Yeah, didn't make it. So.
Now, you saw this on video or
just
you were
on
there?
video.
Whoa.
Easter Island.
Oh man, Easter Island. I've been trying to go to Easter Island for the last 10 years.
You can't get in?
Nobody's gonna get in now because they just went there. Somebody went there and lit that place on fire. Yeah.
What?
They burned down the majority of the moai heads. They put some type of a chemical on the moais and lit that on fire, which melted solid stone.
When did this happen?
That happened in October of 2022. Yeah.
Somebody went there and ruined it.
How do you get that much fuel on the island? It's hard to get there. How do you get the fuel there? Somebody manually had to go and burn all these heads. And my biggest dream was to go there because those bodies, their heads are just the top of the body. There's full bodies underneath the ground that go down for meters. And their hands are holding weapons in some cases. They have technology in their hands, but these things are super megalithic. And the reason why the heads are above the ground is because there was obviously a global flood, and that's a mud flow that covered these things up. There's similar heads like you can find in South America.
Really?
Yeah, similar with the body still attached. There's this link that there wasn't just isolated civilizations, that this was at one point a global civilization.
Wow, global.
Apple just announced that in their next upgrade coming this fall that they're going to actually put ChatGPT on every iPhone to collect and analyze all the data of yours that's flowing through an iPhone if you're using it. We did a side-by-side test between our phone and Google and Apple's. The Google and Apple phones seem to wake up between 2 and 3 at night, and they have this huge, like a 50 megabyte data dump that's sent out from the phone every night, sending off your preferences, everything you've done that day. Average kid in America, by the time they reach the age of 13, has had 72 million data points collected on them by big tech.
Wow.
Using that advertising ID.
Wow.
Each Google or Apple phone has like a 32-digit advertising ID. It's a code. Someone could call it the mark of the beast that follows that device around everywhere. And that's how the tech companies track where that device goes to figure out proximity for advertising, sales, and who you're interacting with in your schedule. So again, we did Unplugged as a way for people to still communicate in the world, but not be giving off all their digital data to big tech, to people that really don't like them. Some people are sheep and they want to live like sheep and be treated like sheep. And not everyone is a sheep.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
What did Will Smith really mean to tell us?
Y'all, we out here on vacation in the Bahamas, another beautiful day. Check it out, check it out.
I've seen this one before.
I want to talk to y'all for a minute about the power of perception. You see, there's a lot that goes in to being a hot social media content provider. For instance, y'all think I got time to go on vacation? No. I got social to do. Come on, man, this is blue screen. In fact, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I haven't looked like this good in years. I've been totally computer generated since like the 90s. You know what? This ain't even real blue screen. It's 2019, y'all. Nothing's real.
This is crazy. Nothing's real. All perception.
So check this out. P. Diddy on Biggie's car when the night Biggie got shot, they put a sticker on like the tire.
I seen that.
It marked which one was Biggie's. And then that's when he got assassinated.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Watch this clip.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive. People keep forgetting he hadn't turned 25 yet. He was still 24 when he died. It's been over 25 years. Puffy has been making money on that boy's name longer than he lived. It supported all of Bad Boy. His catalog. Clearly, a Biggie Smalls verse.
Pretty much all of them died from either a heart attack, except for Kim. So check this out. Yo, so 3 of the guys died of a heart attack.
There's a solar eclipse happening. You heard about that on April 8th? You didn't know about that? So like, there was a map of the last 2 solar eclipses. It was going in like this direction. This solar eclipse is going like this. The last one was like 2.5 minutes long. That's how long it takes. This one is twice as long. It's gonna be 4.5 minutes long.
4 minutes?
Yes, of darkness. They said that the National Guard has been called out on that day. They told people to stock up on food.
What?
Get generators. I'm like, what the hell is happening, bro? What's happening, bro? Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on TikTok and things about like prophecies. So they said that the same date that the eclipse is happening lines up to the 3 days of darkness, I think, in the Bible or in Egypt. And that's like when the end is near. It was like in the Bible, they said on this day, the sun is gonna turn black and the moon
Who remembers April 8th?
turn into blood. The scientists at NASA just said the moon is rusting.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, what is going on?
It's over, guys.
And then they was talking about the Euphrates River. Like, once that dries up, the world is gonna end. That dried up.
Oh,
I'm
boy,
like, yo,
over.
He said it's over. He said it's over.
Did you know that the Statue of Liberty might have a hidden, darker meaning? Stick around because this story is packed with mysterious twists and intriguing facts. And don't forget to follow our channel for more mind-blowing revelations. Some believe that the Statue of Liberty, an iconic symbol of freedom, actually represents Lucifer. Let's dive deeper into this theory. The statue's crown has 7 points, which some say symbolize the 7 deadly sins, a stark contrast to the traditional view of enlightenment and freedom. The torch she holds is another point of contention. It's widely accepted as a beacon of liberty and hope, but some argue it represents Lucifer, often called the light bearer. This interpretation suggests that the statue's light is not about freedom from oppression, but rather a more sinister kind of freedom, freedom from God. There's more. The designer of the statue, Frederick Auguste Bartholdi, was a known Freemason. Some conspiracy theorists suggest that the Masonic influence imbued the statue with hidden esoteric meanings. Could the statue be part of a Luciferian agenda that has been unfolding for centuries? This theory posits that what we celebrate as liberty might be masking an agenda that's far more complex and eerie. Is it mere coincidence, or is there a hidden truth lurking in plain sight? If you found this intriguing, make sure to follow our channel. We've got more fascinating and mysterious stories that will keep you questioning everything you thought you knew.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't.
Did this song from 1969 predict the events of 2024? This theory says yes. So back in 1969, there was a song that was released called Age of Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In by a band named The Fifth Dimension. In their lyrics, they speak very specifically about what the Age of Aquarius is and what will happen during the Age of Aquarius. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Age of Aquarius just began on January 20th of 2024. The band detailed that during the Age of Aquarius, there will be harmony and understanding, sympathy, trust abounding, and no more falsehoods or lies. And at the very beginning of 2024, the Age of Aquarius, this is already happening. There has been news about aliens and extra-dimensional beings, billionaires and millionaires coming out and being candid about their preparation for the end of the world by building bunkers. Big governments and individuals being exposed for lying, cheating, stealing, and hurting other people. And most importantly, news about World War III has been coming out day after day, warning us that something big is about to happen and that our world will change forever. Now, although some are hopeful for the age of Aquarius, others are actually very fearful of it because some believe that the world will end during the age of Aquarius, which is right around now. Now, whether you believe in astrology or if this band was right or wrong, none of that matters. We do see that something is changing and happening in our world right now, and we have to be prepared for it. So are you prepared for the age of Aquarius and what's to come? Tell me what you think in the comments.
Man.
2024 is going to be very chaotic. It's going to be weird. There's some weird movies coming out. How many guys saw the recent movie Leave the World Behind? Anybody saw that movie there? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know all these. Am I watching a movie or is this a documentary realistic thing? And then I'm seeing Mark Zuckerberg just spent $100 million building a house in Hawaii with a nuclear bunker. What does he know that the rest of the world doesn't know about? Talk about the timing. Oh, accidentally, coincidentally, a week after that movie comes out, a new movie comes out. What's the name of that movie? Civil War. Leave the world behind. Our power grid in America hasn't been updated. 75% of it hasn't been updated in 50 years. And you're kind of talking about that. Then you're pitting whites against blacks. There's a line in the movie that says, Dad, you know if something goes down, we can't trust these white people. I know that's something both you and Mom agree on. Why do you put that line in the movie, Barack? And you were helping with the script. Why would you put that in the movie? Why would you put that in the movie? Barack, weren't you the same guy that gave a talk at the DNC in 2004 about bringing people together? What happened to that guy?
It's just why the ocean freaks me out way more than space ever will. So back in the 1970s, that's very important, the 1970s, the Navy had put down an acoustic sensor device, and this went all throughout the bottom of the ocean. Its initial purpose before this project really got going was for them to map out the ocean floor and to be able to detect submarines and things like that. Now, this came out from someone in the Navy whose responsibility was to monitor the sensors on this. They were detecting underwater submersible type objects.
Hold on. There's a lot of stuff going on now about aliens and stuff.
That were traveling at thousands of miles per hour, which wasn't possible at the time. This happened in the 70s. So that on top of this, they had detected many structures underwater that were active and that the Navy needed to stay clear of because they didn't fully understand what it was.
What?
Like, how does the Navy not understand what it is?
What?
And this is a report from someone from the Navy in the 1970s. So much of our ocean has been left undiscovered. Maybe there's a reason why. But a lot of people think that this is a bunch of hoo-ha and it's just a legend. Let me know what you think and come over here if you want some of my long-form content.
This world is crazy.
The demonic reason why soccer stadiums look like eyes from above.
Wake up. Do our eyes deceive us? I guess if you have a conspiracy mind, it makes sense, right? Yeah, we know the symbols and they still throw it in our faces. Makes sense though, right? The halftime show is one of the most viewed events every single year. What a time to harvest the energy from the masses, right? I know, you'll call me crazy, then still deny the symbolism. That's Madonna's halftime show. She pops her top and we see what her costume really is. Understand that sports in general are used to specifically preoccupy our minds with stuff that doesn't even matter. So you think basketball is safe from this? This is the Staples Center, aka the Lakers Arena. You guys catching what that looks like? Because it looks a lot like a reptilian eye to me. Yeah, you call it a coincidence until you see one of the biggest stars in basketball throwing up the same exact symbols. Oh, and what are those? What does that mean? If you know, you know. And I know you know. They don't hold rituals here. It's all just crazy speculation, right?
Wow, so these are rituals.
What is a skinwalker? Skinwalker is a shape-shifting demonic entity. It's essentially a Native American witch or warlock that sells their soul in exchange for immortality, the ability to take on the skin or shapeshift, oftentimes in the form of a wolf, a dire wolf, or a werewolf-like creature, but they can also take on the shape of other animals as well. And it's a topic that I found the Native American community likes to stay away from. They don't like to discuss it. To even say the name Skinwalker is negative. And it's a key part of their cultural tradition and history. Skinwalkers to the Native Americans in the Uinta Basin are just as real as this chair, as this bottle of Diet Mountain Dew. It's a very real part of their cultural history.
Okay, the last part of the history that I want to talk about is we spoke a little bit last night about remote viewing and some studies that Stanford was doing, and how does that tie in with Skinwalker Ranch?
I believe that consciousness plays a role, and consciousness studies will play a role in understanding the nature of what we are dealing with at Skinwalker Ranch. I think the remote viewing, practice or phenomena, I believe has validity to it. We've had a number of gifted intuitives that have consulted with our research. We have avoided some of that with respect to the documentary series, as we're still getting data, and some of it is inconclusive. A lot of it is very controversial. But I think that the nature of our consciousness and really the world around us has yet to truly be understood.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Jimmy Fallon once?
Yeah.
Jim Carrey was on it.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he was gonna expose the whole
Oh,
Illuminati.
yeah,
right?
I think I heard of that.
Yeah, so he did something like this, like the sign of the Illuminati is the tongue in the triangle. He was exposing like talk show host has been in it, and Jimmy Fallon was like, they're like,
oh shit.
And he was a big laughing. He was taking it as a joke because it's like, yo, this shit is like, real. Like, I'm in it, fam. Like,
is that a gang sign? Have you? Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is. I have no idea. You don't know. David Letterman doesn't know. We don't know. All the comics and show business don't know what this is. On the joke, man. For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh, and stuff like that, make you happy and docile, so you don't know what's really going on.
Yeah, because if you've seen Jim Carrey like recently, like even on like the TMZ shit that we were talking about,
he always been trying to tell something behind the scenes.
No, y'all, because that looks like a mask. Like, that doesn't even look like a real person. It's giving uncanny valley vibes, like, for real. Because that's P. Diddy. Where are all his freckles and moles? There's not even light in these eyes. It really looks like a mask. Again, like, that is not
Is this a
the
real
same
picture?
person.
This
It
not-
looks a lot like him. But yeah, I agree. I don't think that's him. This happened with Kanye a while back, and it's going on with Kate Middleton right now. I mean, I thought it was known that these people had clones. We've seen pictures of these people throughout history. That's a clone. That is not him. I mean, they let P. Diddy go to jail. Y'all tell me
That's
what
his
you think
mugshot?
about this, because look at this man.
That's his mugshot.
That is not P. Diddy. I'm sorry. That almost looks like AI or something. It is so weird.
That was his official mugshot?
Now, this is scary. Do you know about Flight 370? It's one of the weirdest unsolved mysteries in the history of planes and flights. Flight MH370 was a Malaysian plane that took off on March the 8th, 2014, and randomly disappeared from existence. The plane vanished like it never even took flight in the first place. To this day, nobody knows where it went. The flight took off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The plane had 239 passengers on it and was apparently heading to Beijing International Airport. It was a 6-hour-long flight and everything was completely fine until Flight 370 passed the Vietnamese watchtower. This is when it all went left for everybody. But listen, this is the weird part. The last words the watchtower heard before the strange disappearance was "good night." And from that moment, every last detail about the plane disappeared from the radar, and the plane itself disappeared out of thin air.
What?
After this happened, the rescue team started searching all over for the airplane. They searched seas, oceans, and all. 35 ships, 29 planes, and the help of 7 countries were all dispatched to help find Flight 370, but nobody could. After investigations were ran on the satellite system, they noticed the plane was still flying for around 6 hours after disappearing. Strange.
Whoa. Whatever happened to that?
ChatGPT today has an IQ of 155. Okay? Einstein is 160. We're matching Einstein with a machine that I will tell you openly, AI experts are saying this is just the very, very, very top of the tip of the iceberg. ChatGPT 4 is 10x smarter than 3.5 in just a matter of months, and without many, many changes. Now, that basically means ChatGPT 5 could be within a few months, or GPT in general, the transformers in general. If they continue at that pace, if it's 10x, then an IQ of 1600. Just imagine the difference between the IQ of the dumbest person on the planet in the 70s and the IQ of Einstein. When Einstein attempts to explain relativity, the typical response is, I have no idea what you're talking about. Right? If something is 10x Einstein, we will have no idea what it's talking about. This is just around the corner. It could be a few months away.
That is crazy. Crazy.
You guys want to hear something terrifying? The Prophecy of the Pope. This book was found in the Vatican archives in the 1500s, and it was authored by, his name was Malachi of Armagh, but this book has 111 cryptic phrases. Basically, it predicted every single pope from in 1143 all the way to our current pope, Pope Francis.
No way.
But the scary thing is, after Pope Francis, the last one, it just says in Judgment Day.
Oh, gosh.
It literally ends after Pope Francis?
Yes. The creepiest thing that I saw inside St. Paul's Basilica, like bordering the whole inner sanctuary, is every single pope, like a picture of every single pope. But what's weird is that there's only a certain amount of markers to where you could put a picture. One left after Pope Francis. They have always said that once that last slot is filled, it will be the end of the world. What he predicted and the time it took to go from the first pope that he wrote about to the second halfway mark pope was 422 years. And he's saying from the middle one to the end, another 422 years will be the end of the world. And if you do 422 years from the middle pope, which was 1585, that year is 2027.
Dang!
Pope John the 23rd, he said that the end of the world would happen 2,000 years plus Christ's life. So that adds up to 2027 as well.
Christ was 33. Or 30 or
I'm
something.
a psycho about filtering my water because I live in Miami. The water comes into a condo unit. God knows where those pipes have been before it gets in there. I just took 2 glasses of tap water. Then I had my production manager, had him hold 4 of his fingers in the water for 60 seconds. And then he took his fingers out, and then I used chlorine drops. And I actually measured the amount of chlorine in each glass. One glass turned bright yellow, showing the presence of chlorine, where he did not put his hand. The other glass, which was from the same tap, showed no chlorine, showing that in 60 seconds it went right transdermal. So the body absorbed that chlorine right out of the water. Now you're showering with that. You're drinking it. You're brushing your teeth with it. You're bathing in it. You're washing your face with it in the mornings. So right there before everybody's eyes, they were like, wow. And I think it was a big Perry Mason kind of ta-da moment for a lot of people. And so that's what I mean about, we can let our bodies be the filter, or we can filter it before our bodies. I filter it down to 0.1 micron. And I use something called an Echo water filter. I have one under the counter. I have a whole home filtration system.
Whoa, body just absorbed the chlorine.
I'm going to expose one of Satan's secrets regarding music frequency. Meet the Rockefeller family. This family is one of the 13 Illuminati bloodline families that controls the world. This powerful elitist family is actually the reason why secular music is poisoning the souls of many listeners today. Up until 1953, the standard tuning for music was 432 Hz. This frequency was actually shown to have positive effects on the body, including reducing the heart rate, calming stress, and even helping people sleep better. However, starting in 1917, the American Federation of Musicians started pushing for 440 Hz. And by 1953, a worldwide agreement was signed that the middle A on the piano would always be tuned to 440 Hz frequency. This is now the universal tone across the entire planet, with every instrument now adopting this frequency. The 440 Hz push was originally backed by the Rockefeller family, and their studies on this frequency will shock you. In this study, they concluded that this frequency caused greater aggression, psychosocial agitation, agitation, and emotional distress. XXXTentacion, one of the biggest rappers in the music industry, actually exposed how humans can be controlled with music frequency.
Music is frequency programming. I figured out that hertz is to understand the frequency vibration. If I play with those frequencies, I can target certain parts of the mind, target the frequency to go to certain parts of the mind. If I want you to astral project, if I want you to go to sleep, if I want you to go into a meditative state, I can make my music do that.
As a Christian, it is not only important to stay away from secular music that's promoting sin, but also be aware in the deeper spiritual level that music holds.
That's real. That is real.
Two companies control the world, and yet you don't know who they are. When we think of the most powerful companies in the world, we often think of Apple, Google, or Amazon. However, these companies are small potatoes compared to the two behemoths that are BlackRock and Vanguard. BlackRock and Vanguard are the two most powerful investment funds in the world, with over 15 trillion in assets under management, or roughly 5 times the GDP of France. So how do these two companies control the world? It's simple. Vanguard and BlackRock own shares in all the world's most powerful companies. They are the largest shareholders in Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft. They are veritable financial monsters. The two of them own absolutely everything in pharmaceuticals, transport, banking, and the media. It's simple. Every time you do something, you make BlackRock and Vanguard richer. Look at TF1, you make Vanguard richer. You go on Instagram, you make BlackRock richer. You buy an iPhone, you make Vanguard richer. And the terrifying thing is that when you make Vanguard richer, you also make BlackRock richer, because the two companies are each other's largest shareholders.
What is going on?
Have you guys ever heard of Candy Jones, the former model who claims she was mind controlled by the CIA? Candy Jones is considered the most famous model from the 1940s and 50s. She married this man, Henry Conover, who was the first fashion mogul and had one of the first fashion modeling agencies. He also invented the concept of the cover girl and used his muse, Candy Jones, and during World War II, she was on 11 magazine covers. Throughout World War II, she traveled throughout Europe to perform for the troops. In 1945, she was in the Philippines performing for troops when she became sick with malaria. And that's when she met a doctor by the name of Gilbert Jensen. Of course, this wasn't his real name. After getting divorced, she needed some extra money, so she opened up a modeling school. And this was when a mysterious FBI agent approached her and asked if he would be able to receive some mail at the address of her modeling agency. She said she felt it was her patriotic duty, so she said yes. In 1972, she married a radio host, a man named Long John Nibel. After getting married, he noticed that Candy would have these episodes. She would become angry and violent and would completely change in her demeanor and then have no recollection of doing it after. Whoa. He called this the voice. She had also been suffering with insomnia, so he said, "Why don't we try hypnosis?" When he put her under hypnosis, he found out that actually she had a split personality. Her other personality was named Arlene, but Arlene had very specific details about working for the CIA. Arlene claimed to have worked on all of these secret missions across the world, including traveling to Vietnam for the CIA. She started to come out about her claims, saying that she was a victim of government mind control and that she had been involved in some type of secret program. There was a lot of speculation about this, whether it was just delusions or false memory syndrome. Go check my video on false memory syndrome. But then Candy found a passport, and it was a photo of her with a black wig and dark makeup, and it said Arlene Grant.
Man,
and
what?
there was stamps in this passport
What?
from all over the world. Yet she had no recollection of ever doing this.
What?
After these discoveries, information about Project MKUltra made it to the public. And this was an illegal human experimentation conducted by the CIA. The CIA claims that they ended all of the MKUltra testing in 1973.
Whoa.
And that all the documents would be destroyed. But many people claim to still be victims of this experiment. Check out The Control of Candy Jones for the full story, and follow if you enjoy this type of content.
That is crazy. Crazy.
Do you know that eels are the only animals on the earth that we don't know where they came from?
I didn't know that.
Scientists have done like observations of them. All eels during a specific time in the year, no matter where they are, they will all travel to the Bermuda Triangle, and that's where they meet. It could be in Europe, it could be in the freshwater rivers of the United States. When it's time to mate, they will all go to the Bermuda Triangle. And it's hard for scientists to study them because it was too dangerous. So we really don't know where they came from. And like the males and females have no reproductive organs.
What?
Yeah, I think I knew that. So it's like, how do they reproduce? And like, I think they did a test where they put eels in a bucket or put them in a tank. And when it was time to mate, they will all swim in the direction of the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah. You know, people have speculated, right? Because I remember we talked about it before. People think octopuses could be aliens. People think that maybe eels are not from here. Like, say an asteroid came and hit the planet, there was like little bits of organisms that survived the crash and they were able to grow on Earth. And there was one meteor that crashed in the Bermuda Triangle, and it was said to have crashed 65 million years ago. And that's when the dinosaurs was gone.
They don't have no reproductive organs?
One of the most eerie ones was when Bill Gates was being questioned about it. You know,
he's dead now.
Yeah, he's dead now. So you have to be careful. What the fuck does that mean? Fuck does that mean? Jesus Christ. He's dead now, so I guess you have to be careful. Like, what?
And Ghislaine Maxwell came out recently and said, I don't think he killed himself.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Michael Baden, that famous autopsy doctor, the guy who was from the show Autopsy, he said that out of thousands of cases of people hanging themselves that he's personally investigated, he has never seen anybody with those injuries.
That's right.
And that those injuries were of a person who was strangled.
Yes.
And that the broken bones in his neck were indicate of a ligature strangulation. The area where he was strangled was low on the neck, which is not where you get when someone's hanging by their own weight, which is higher on the neck because your body weight is dragging it down. He's like, that was someone who got strangled.
And the security cameras were magically not working.
Yeah, magically.
Personally offered me $2 billion to not pursue what I was doing. Someone in the photo lab took a picture of a picture. It's an extraterrestrial on a dissection with a group of doctors and what looked like some suits in the background. Yeah, arms, legs, head. The head is covered with a towel. Apparently it was badly mutilated. It had a weird, call them ETVs for the ones that are of extraterrestrial origin. There were 3 of these man-made UFOs, ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles, hovering in this hangar.
This alien stuff, wow.
They found Jeffrey Epstein's building. You know, there was 2 guys that actually went on that island and started vlogging. Oh, really? Yeah, so they got on and they're like, oh, I'm so scared. Like,
what they find?
They found the building. And they went, they were looking in it, but they didn't want to vlog. There was something in the middle that was covered with a blanket. Yeah.
Like a person?
Yeah, and that's all they saw.
Boarded off. The entire place looks to be repainted. It used to be blue and yellow. A ladder right here, almost as if they just repainted the place. It is literally pure white now. Someone took a dump right there. This is the place where evil things went down. In this temple right here, there used to be a giant sun compass that was removed apparently. And up here successfully, undetected. There's there's like a speaker right there. But beyond that, seems to be low-level security right now. Okay, there's a sailboat coming in right there. That's not what we want to see. Right now, it's a race against time. Hopefully I don't go to jail. Horrid things went down here. Look at all these benches. Very out of place benches, right? You have benches right here, bench right there, bench right there, bench right there. Look at that, this makes no sense. I'm gonna go back down, see if we can examine the estate. This time I might have to go blitzkrieg. Now I just need to run. My pants were literally falling off. Looks like an unfinished construction pathway. Let's see what's inside. I don't know where all the security went.
These people are crazy.
They might be on their lunch break, boozing out right now. I just can't breathe.
Straight went to the island.
Here are some scary facts that you probably didn't know until now. First up, no one is more prepared for the world to end than CNN. Yes, the news station. It has been reported that CNN has a pre-recorded broadcast from the 90s that they will premiere at the end of the world. Like, what do they know that we don't, that they're already prepared for it? Next up, the body cannot tell the difference between either of your eyes. So because of this, it's possible that if one of your eyes gets damaged, your immune system will attack the healthy eye, thus taking away your eyesight. To be honest, that sounds like a fucking nightmare. And lastly, we have the bite of the blue ring octopus. Now, a bite from one of these bad boys is pretty lethal. It's said that their venom can kill more than 20 humans in just a few minutes. Although that's scary in itself, it's very unlikely to happen. But if you are bit by one of these guys and are being administered CPR, it is highly likely that you will feel and know the CPR is happening, but you won't be able to move or respond. Holy
All right, that was another TikTok compilation. A lot of conspiracy theories, alien stuff, government stuff, Illuminati stuff, secret security, secret service, all of it. Look, man, you made it this far and you a real one for real. Make sure you drop that in the comments. Don't forget, I got a TikTok playlist you can go through and binge watch. But yeah, take care of yourself. Till next time, self-love and positivity. Fire Squad, I got you and you know it.